In this video, I'll be showing us how we will get to solve the Module 5 Challenge Lab, which is on creating a dynamic website for the cafe. So I have started the lab and I have my management console running in another window. So here's the architecture we're starting with, and all of this we already have it pre-provisioned, and this is what we should end up with. So all of these extra things, we are going to do them in this lab. So let's go and follow the instruction just the way they gave it to us. So task 1 is analyzing the existing EC2 instance. So I go there to my management console EC2. So we open that in another tab. So I go and analyze the running instance that was created for me, and this is it. You can see the Cloud9 Cafe web server. That's the EC2 instance that was created for me, and I click on the instance ID to see an overview of it, and this is it. So let's see anything we have to answer. I'll do there. So we get to answer 4 questions from that. So is the instance in the public subnet. So the questions are here. We know that you pick up the URL for the questions. Just copy it, close that. Alright, so in another tab we get to open it here. So is the instance in a public subnet. So we explore this. So we can see that the subnet ID states that it's a public subnet at the end there. So yes, it is in a public subnet. Does the EC2 instance have an IPv4 public address assigned to it? Yes, it will have, because it's in a public subnet. So it has. So say yes, submit that. So what inbound TCP port numbers are open for this instance? Ports numbers are open, so we see that from security. Inbound, we have 2 rules for inbound, and the port is port 22, and the source is a specific range, port 22 TCP specific range. So we go back to the questions. So it's 22 specific range, not just to the internet, port 22 specific range. We submit that. Then 4 says, does the instance have an AWS identity and access management rule assigned to it, associated with it? So IAM rule is empty, so it doesn't have an IAM rule attached to it now. Sorry, no, it doesn't have one. So now we proceed. Let's see. Then it says let's connect to the IDE. So we connect to Cloud9 IDE by using the URL there. So let's see it. So here's the URL for Cloud9. So we copy. And then we go use it here. So a browser-based terminal will open up, which is AWS Cloud9. So, and then we're going to run some commands there. This is Cloud9 interface. We're going to run some command. First, we can observe the operating system of this shell that we have now, the machine behind it. We get to see it now with exploit through this command. So we can copy that. We get to this is the terminal, this is the file, browser here, file explorer here, and here is the IDE where we can write our code. And for example, we can open the redmi.nd. We can see it here. We can close or open the file from here, and we can maximize the terminal here. So I'm going to paste that code and run, and here we see that it's a Linux machine, Linux version 6.1 and it's a Red Hat and everything there, details there. So what else do we need to do? So now we'll get to observe the web server, the PHP details, and the server state that is on this machine. So we use the sudo httpd -v to see the version of the Apache web server, and service httpd status to see the status of that server, and php -v version to see the version of PHP running. So let's copy and run all of them all at once and carefully observe the results. Alright, so we can see now, okay, this okay, I've gotten this terminal won't allow me to run all the commands. That's why it's best you usually run the commands individually, because some shell will not allow you to run everything all at once. So let's do that individually and see. Okay, now the server build is what this, the version of the web server is Apache 2.4 that. So let's see the status. You can see the status. It's HTTPD service, Apache HTTP server. It's loaded, and there's where it is loaded. It's disabled, and the preset is disabled. The status is what inactive, it's dead. So that's it, is currently dead and not running, not active. Then for the PHP version, let's see that. So this is the PHP version, PHP C 8.2.323, which is CLI and all that details about it. So about that. So next we'll get to start the web server, install the database, and then set them to start automatically after any future EC2 instance restarts. So by running this command. So this command, within this command is the command to start, also to install to start the web server, to install the database, and to set that database to automatically start after the EC2 instance restarts. So whenever the EC2 instance is restarted, the web server should start. So let's do that. This is going to run this on the terminal here. We have that result went through, run this there, and it's successful. Run the next. Successful there. We see now that it's what's active and running. And this is just my current time, because at this point I had enabled it. So now, and I started the service. So now it is all active and running, and it is enabled. So that's for the Apache server. So then we see the database version. That. So it's MariaDB version 15.1, distribution 10.5.25 for Linux. Then we enable MariaDB. Then copy it. So enable MariaDB, done successfully. Then check config MariaDB on. going to enable that. Okay, done. Then we see its status now. Okay, first we start. We've not started it. Start. Then we check the status to see everything was actually successful. Yes, everything is successful. It's active and running, enabled, and all of those log details. So next we get to configure the EC2 instance so that it can use Cloud9 to edit the web server files running. So first do this to create a symlink. Next we change the ownership permissions of the /var/www/html. Okay, that's done. Now we can explore the directories on the cafe web server, the www directory. Let's see. We can now bring down, minimize the terminal and look at our file explorer here. This is the this is the cafe server, the www, and this is the HTML there. So now within that HTML, we are going to create a file. We are going to name the file index.html, and we are going to put this inside of that file. So going to create a file here in this HTML, new file, and it's to be named index.html. Inside of the file, we have to put in this line, and we're to save. So here should indicate that it's not saved. So I'm going to say Ctrl S. You see it goes green and that white leaves there. So it has been saved now. Now we're going to access our web server. So we're going to access our web server by trying to visit it with HTTP, then the public IP address of the server. So this is the public IP address of the server. I'm going to copy it, and on another tab I use HTTP to visit, and then the IP address of the web server. Alright, so let's visit that now and see. Okay, it's going to load and fail. It's not going to work, and that's because we do not have an inbound rule for HTTP. HTTP port is port 20. TCP port 20, and it's not open because from our inbound rules we see that we only have 2 rules for port 22. That's for inbound. We only have 2 rules for port 22. We have no inbound rule, and also for data from or requests from the internet or from another EC2 instance, whatever be the case. So we have to create that rule. And let's go to the security group. Here. We're going to create an inbound rule. So we edit inbound rule, And then these are the two rules that were there for TCP port range 22, which are SSH. Now we're going to create another one by adding rule, and it's going to be for 80, which is actually what HTTP port 80. And then for the source, we're going to put it. So let's see if they told us specifically what source to use. Okay, so let's just use the internet generally, since we are coming from the internet. So let's just, and for the internet you use 000. It says all, it means all. So we save that row. Now after saving, so by just visiting the page, it reloads and instantly we see the content of our web server, what we placed in our web server there. Remember that line was what we pasted here instead here. So this is the page, the first page, the home page that is displaying to us, and is displaying what it has inside of it, which is what hello from web server. So when we visited, that's what we are seeing here, hello from web server. So the next is to install. We've tested the web server that it's working. That's why we did that. That was not our requirement, our ultimate. So we only used it to test that the web server can deliver web pages and content to those coming from the internet. So now let's see how we can install a dynamic website application on that EC2 instance. So going to require some steps like installing the application. So there are several commands here. We're going to run them individually to be sure of what we are doing and to know how things are going. So first we navigate cd change directory to the environment directory, and so we come back to our terminal, we maximize it, and from our terminal we are already on that directory, so no need to still run the first command. So we just use this, and it's going to use wget to visit this http to visit that site, and then it's going to download the setup.zip. So see how it does there now. So right here it's going to download setup.zip, and it has been downloaded. So and the next command will be to unzip it and release all of the file and directories that are inside of it. So let's go there. Okay, no, I didn't copy properly. Let's copy and unzip it, and it's going to release all of the compressed and files that are within it in the same current directory. So all of this has been released to the environment directory, and this is we'll use wget to download the db.zip, which is for the database, and let's see how it does. We use that command here. You see it downloads db.zip, which is a zip file for our database, and the next command we are running on zip is going to unpack that package for us. It's going to release the files and folders that are held inside of it, and you see that done now. Next is that we're going to use wget again to download the cafe.zip. And that has also been downloaded, and the next command is to will be to unzip it, but this time around a -d flag is applied and a file path is added to it, meaning it's not just going to unzip it in the current directory, but it's going to send it to this directory for it to be unzipped and release all of the files and folders there. right, so that has also been done. Then let's navigate to one of those directories we have there. Then let's download this aws.zip with aws wget. So that file has been downloaded, and we use wget again to download this other file. Then we unzip it into another directory using the -d flag. So how that is done, then we change permissions for that particular directory. Alright, so now you can, let's explore the file explorer. Let's go to file explorer and see. Here we can minimize our terminal again, and right here in our file explorer we can see all of the files open and the directories open and all that we have downloaded. We can see the zip files: setup.zip, cafe.zip, db.zip, all downloaded right in that directory, and then it was unzipped and placed somewhere else. So we can now see here setup is here. We can see, okay, that's just set up for the now there, and all of that will be up there. So now I'm going to go down to this file and explore it. So where is that file? It's under what is a cafe. It's PSR index.php. Okay, so we get to go to that okay, let's see, it says cafe psr index.php. So let's trace it there. This is www, this is html, this is cafe, this is psr. So under psr, this is the get parameters. Okay, so that get parameters, yes, that's the get parameters.php. So see completely, this is the get.php. So here's the file now. So we can reduce this so that we can maximize this whole place. So here, right here, we see the codes there. So it's just to explore and see it. It says we should look at line 18, for example. It references get app parameters php. Okay, first we go to index.php now. Okay, so index.php, where is it? There is it. So index.php, and then it says go to 18. This is 18, and see 18 references get app parameters.php, yeah, which is this other one here, get app parameters.php. Yeah, and in this get app parameters.php, it says look at line 3, and you see AWS is invoked here. Line 3, we see that AWS is what invoked, meaning into the code. So so now we are going to run a script that is going to create secrets for us in Secret Manager. It's going to create and store secrets in Secret Manager, and the application needs those secrets to access other dependencies like the database. So for example, a database has a username, it has password. To be able to access it, to use it, to get it, to read it, and everything. So how do we do that? We don't get to, it's a best practice not to put those credentials as part of your code. You don't put it as part of your code, but instead you can use Secrets Manager to manage those secrets. So they will be stored safely in Secrets Manager, while to retrieve anytime the application needs those credentials, it can be retrieved and used to run or access those things, and then but no one will get to see those credential hard coded in the application code. So that's what the script is going to do. So first we go home with cd, and then we navigate toward environment, the setup directory inside of the environment directory, and run the script with this command. So let's do order now. So let's maximize our shell, our terminal again. First we run cd, brings us here, then cd environment setup. So now we are here in environment setup. So we run the set parameters.sh, and the script runs and it issues commands to create 7 secrets, and these are the 7 secrets that were created. So these are the secrets that were created there, and you can see this is show server info, this is cafe's time zone, this is cafe currency, this is cafe db URL, cafe db name, cafe db user, cafe db password. So we can see them on our management console. Okay, we are here on management console. You can type secrets, and then open it in another tab. Here we have them. See, we have them here in secrets under Secrets Manager, the 7 secrets that the application needs to run successfully. So let's go to the db password and retrieve the secret value. So this is the secret value stored in db password. So this is the password literally of the database server running. So we can copy it because we're going to use it soon. So it says first we do go to the db, then we run set root password.sh, then we run these other scripts. So let's do that. It's a cd .db is that it? Yeah, let's just copy it not to make any mistake. Okay, I have to go home first. I'm not in the right directory to do that. cd, let's see. Okay, I just discovered I did not unzip db initially, so I'm going to do that now. I didn't unzip db, meaning I didn't use this. So copy that, because when I tried to navigate there, it says no such directory found. So first let's cd into environment, and then let's unzip db there. Alright, so now we can run that into db. So if you don't miss this step, this should work for you. If you didn't miss that step. So if you followed exactly every code here and did that, it should work for you. So I missed it, so that's why it gave me error there that it's not found. So I have to go back and unzip it. Now I will continue. I'll continue now. Okay, so I would run this there. Alright, and also run the other, which is alright, so then I'm going to connect to the MySQL client with this. It's going to ask for password. I'm going to use that password on the DB that's stored in Secrets Manager, which is this. Remember, when you paste in the terminal, it's not going to display, so just type your enter, and you can see we are connected to the MySQL client. We are on MariaDB here. You can see that just like this one here. So we can run these commands. First we show databases, so it shows us the databases that we have here and that we can connect to. Then we use CafeDB, so we choose that database, we choose that CafeDB. So now we see our prompt change to CafeDB, and next we'll show tables. Let's see the tables it has on this database. Okay, these are the tables: order item, product, and product group. Now let's select everything. So we want to view everything on product, so let's select everything from product. So now we can view everything from product. These are the different products, the description, the price, the group, and the URL for their images, to display their images. So that's that there. Next we update the time zone with this command. So let's just run that command. Okay, we have to exit first. We didn't exit our database, so exit, then run this command. Our time zone has been changed, so for it to start using the time zone, we have to restart it. So we have to restart it here, and boom, it has been restarted. The website has been restarted, so it now uses this time zone that we just set. So now to have a view of this working site, now we use this format, the HTTP, the IP of the web server or the EC2 instance, and //cafe. So let's go back. Okay, so let's go back to the instance and copy the public IP address, and then HTTP : / the IP address / cafe. Alright, so this is our website live. Then what next do we do? Then it's working, and then let's try to okay, now You see this front, everything here is working. Then when we go to the menu, we see the menu is not working. The order history, they are not working because they are dependent on the database to show up. They're dependent on the database to show up, and now it's not showing up. There's an issue. So what would the problem be? So it's not the code, it's not any other thing, but it's the ability for the EC2 instance to reach out to secret manager and get the secrets. That's where the problem is coming from. So the EC2 instance don't have that right to get the secret from secrets manager. So what can you do to give EC2 a right to do that is a role, and a role has already been created called cafe role. So let's go give that EC2 instance so that the web server can get the secrets from secret manager. So remember, it doesn't have any role, but now we're going to give it a role because one role has already been configured, which is the cafe role. So let's modify the role, and here we can add a role, add the cafe role, and update that role. So you see now that it now has cafe role attached to it. These two instance now has cafe role attached to it, and when we come here and let's refresh, we see it's now working. It tells you that there are no orders at this time. When we go to menu, we see that we can now see the different things we can order. So let's make an order for this and let's submit it. It has been submitted. When we come to order history, okay, we see that these are just our order now. Okay, yeah, that's our order. So if we make another order, we see the order the last order we just made added, first order and the last order we just made added to it. So it's now working. So let's see what next we get to do. So we've tested it, it's working. We can submit an order and we can see the order in the order history. So what we'll do now is to create to prepare for a disaster recovery by replicating to another region. First, we create an AMI and we'll launch that another instance with that AMI in another region entirely. So this is how it goes. First, we use this command to name the server host name as host as cafe server. So copy and run that command in the terminal. Then we run this. And it requires a passphrase. You type, hit enter again, and it creates that key for you. So next will be to export that key. Okay, now we go to the management console, and in the management console we will create an image, an AMI. Let's go to the management console, create an AMI. So right from here, actions, go to what, image and templates, and we go to create image. So here we are on the create image page, and so now at that point there are questions we get to answer, the remaining questions. So let's see, answer them right here. Where are those questions? Okay, so here are the remaining questions. So 5 says, when you create an AMI from an instance, will the instance be rebooted? So from the create image page, will the instance be rebooted? What we see here is that reboot instance is selected by default. So the instance will be rebooted by default, but if you don't want it rebooted, you can actually clear the selection. So it will be rebooted, but you have the option not to reboot. That would be the correct answer. So here, yes, by default it will be rebooted, but you have the option not to reboot. So this is the correct answer there. Then in what ways can you modify the root volume properties when you create an AMI from an instance? So what way can you modify the root volume? So we go to the create, so we can see we can modify the root volume. Or let me get that question correctly again. It says, in what ways can you modify the root volume properties? Yes, when you create an AMI. So what way can you modify the root volume properties? We see we can add the volume, we can change the size of the root volume. We cannot change the type, but we can enable or disable delete on termination. So let's combine all of that and get to answer. So we cannot change the root volume details. Yes, we can change the root volume details, but we can't change the root volume type. We can't change the root volume type. We can change the details. So we can edit the size, but nothing else. We can edit the size and other things. So that's not the most correct. So you can edit the size, yes, and you can also delete on termination, but you can't change the volume type. That's the correct answer there. The next is, can you add more volumes to an AMI? Yes, you can add more volumes. We already saw that here. Add volume, so you can add volume. So yes, you can add volume. So that's that for that. So let's now create the image. So image name, so let's see what the requirement gave us. It says image name is cafe server. Next we have create it and leave everything as default. So next is that we create an AMI in another region. So let's create an AMI in the Oregon region. So let's see our AMI. We go under images and then AMI here, and we see the AMI that we just the image we just created, and it stays not yet available. It takes up to 2 minutes to be fully available. We can refresh to see, still not available. But then where we need it is in the Oregon region. If we go to the Oregon region, that's where we need to create our new instance. You won't find any AMI there. You won't find that AMI here. So let's go back. And how do we get it to be available in that region? It's by copying it. So let's select it and go under actions. You see copy AMI. So let's copy it to the Oregon region where we need it, and just copy it. Okay, it's not yet working because I still need to give it time to be fully available. So when it's fully available, all right, so let's see. Alright, it's fully available. So now let's copy it to the other region. Everything defaults, just the region, which is Oregon. Let's copy. So now it's successfully copied. So when we change our region to the Oregon region, we get to find our EMI now here. So next is that we will create another instance from this AMI. So we select it and just launch an instance from AMI. So it says for name tags we should choose additional tags, add additional tags, and the tag will be name prod server. Name is already there, so prod server, that's what we use there. And let's see any other thing. Instance type will be T2 small. Instance type T2 small is what we want to use. Then for key pair, it says we should proceed without a key pair. And let's edit the network settings. We are using Lab VPC2, public subnet, and Cafe SG as the security group. So let's see. Lab VPC region 2, public subnet already selected. Use an existing group, security group, and let's use what this is the Cafe SG. Then for the instance profile, we use the Cafe role. So that will be under advanced details, instance profile, Cafe role. Then we are good. We can leave others as defaults and launch the instance, because that is it. It says once the instance has a public IPv4 DNS value assigned, then we will copy it and then use it next. So let's go ahead and see it. The instance failed to turn launch invitation as we tried fade tags. Okay, the instance is not yet, the AMI is not fully available yet, so I just keep retrying. Okay, now it has fully launched. If yours is also failing, just keep retrying it. It's because the AMI we are using was not fully launched. So now it has fully launched. After retrying, it started. So now this is our new instance in Oregon region. Our new instance in Oregon region. This is it, prod server, and it's running, and it's T2 small. Initialization is still initializing status checks. So let's see what next we get to do. So we go to our code and edit, make some edits. We'll go to our code and make some edits. First, line 15 will be edited and we'll change to what US West 2. Okay, next we're going to change the region and the public DNS from the code in our IDE. So let's go back there. Okay. Alright, so here's our Cloud9. Okay. So we'll first drop down our shell, then go to the parameters.sh, set our parameters.sh under the setup. So under setup, set our parameters.sh, here is it. Then it says it's line 15. We'll have to put this copied, line 15, remove this, put that there. So we've changed that. Then the order will be line 21. We'll replace it with the public DNS. So let's go do that. Let's get the public DNS of our new EC2, of our EC2 in the Oregon region that we just created. Go, and this is the public DNS. Here's the public DNS. Okay, here is the public IPv4 DNS. Copy the public IPv4 DNS. Then let's come down here. Then line 20 what? Line 21. Okay, line 21 here. Alright, this is it. So let's remove this first. Then put it within quotes. Paste it there. That is it. Then we save, Control S, it saves it, and then we'll run the script. Run it. It's going to create, just like it did before, it's going to create those 7 secrets. So now it's going to recreate those 7 secrets. Okay, for the ones that are changing. Alright, so after it runs, and let's see what next. So we're going to verify that it's working. Now we're going to take the IPv4 public IPv address of this prod server, and we're going to run it and see. So let's go to this instance. Okay, this is it, prod server, public IP address. Open another tab, then http:// yes, the server is up, just like before. We see that the server is up. Then next we're going to load the menu. So let's now visit the application by adding /cafe. Right, so this is it. Let's go to menu. It's working. Let's order something. Submit the order. It's working. Check the order history. It's working. So we can see that we have our order. You can see this one is for the first one, and this one is for this second one. So it's all working. So, and that's the end of it. So let's submit and see our results. Alright, so everything passed and everything is correct. So I wish you success in yours. Thank you.